Buenos dias. Good morning. Hola. Hello. I'm honored to have been invited to share my thoughts and perspectives here today at the 8th Seminar on Teaching Innovation. I bring warm greetings from my home, Cape Town in South Africa, where I live and work at the University of Cape Town. I honor what is to come today from all the work that you are engaged in to strengthen and build on what is generative and wholesome. I honor those who came before us, who are still with us now, those still to come. In remembering our ancestral presence, I invoke the spirit of wise underlaborers who have started the work we now have the responsibility to complete. I honor what has come before us, and the unsung, the unseen, the unheard, and the uncredited. I honor our efforts to pave the way for a new social imaginary that foregrounds the dignity of all in creating new ways, a new humanity, and a new realism, human and non-human. It is an absolute pleasure to be here at this event today. I also bring you warm greetings from ICET, the council members who have made the long trip to Santiago to attend the AGM and the council meeting. Thank you very much, Universidad Católica de Chile, for hosting us. I would also like to acknowledge and give thanks to the leadership of UC, one of the best universities in Chile. Señor Ignacio Sanchez, President of UC, Señor Fernando Purcell, Vice President of UC, and greetings also to Señor Victor Orellano, Undersecretary of Higher Education at the Ministry of Education. Thank you to the organizers, Chantal Juanet, cumpleaños, on turning 21 again, and Daniel Alberto Canales Escobar, on behalf of Red Cat, for hosting us and for inviting me to share my thoughts today. Thank you to Robert Carter Silva, VP, Vice President of ICET, for linking ICET with this wonderful university. It is also wonderful to be in Santiago, a rich historical city with the beautiful Andes Mountains as a backdrop. And just in coming here today, I can feel the warmth of the people that live in the city and in the country. It is beautiful to be part of this international event. My discussion today centers around a philosophical dilemma on the nature of being human and non-human, and the question of reality. More specifically, I want to explore whether the artificial, as in artificial intelligence, and the real, as in human consciousness, can coexist in the service of social justice in higher education. Linking this to the modern university as we know it, I inevitably age on question, what is the university for? Now more than ever, the questions of purpose and vision of the university are critical. Are we reflecting purposefully on the philosophy of higher education to disrupt what no longer serves us? In the current global higher education context, disruptions have led to many advancements in knowledge production and research. Productive disruption from the IT world was especially useful during the pandemic as a catalyst for online innovations. But the pandemic also made us appreciate the value of in-person teaching after we realized how isolating it can be to use online pedagogies at the expense of human relationships and our mental health. We have learned the importance of using machines in more compassionate ways, whether in the blended, hybrid, or online modes. Education developers and academic developers, and all the teachers in the room today, know firsthand the importance of foregrounding not just the what of teaching, but also the why and the how. That new things emerge through disruption and crises to stretch us and make us rethink our old ways is not the crisis per se. The crisis is whether we can be steadfast in our values about what higher education can and should be doing in the face of continuous change, disruption, the unexpected and the unknown. In this keynote address today, I will explore how we make choices about what to advance and progress in higher education while being mindful of our moral obligation to protect the integrity of knowledge, as well as the integrity of those who generate it. In our context, in South Africa, in Africa and the global South in general, since 2015 specifically, we have been in deep dialogue about our epistemologies, how we generate knowledge and how we come to know what we know. From a decolonial perspective, such dialogue engages in epistemic disobedience, which according to Mignolo calls attention to the silences caused by Western epistemologies and affirms the epistemic rights of the margins. These are the issues that bring me to the topic of the artificial and the real. For full disclosure, I'm not an expert in AI or its generative modalities and algorithms. But as a concerned, educated human, I feel an obligation and commitment to engage with what AI means for higher education of the world by questioning whether the artificial and the real can coexist for mutual benefit. What makes us uniquely human is our ability to tell stories. As Frina Philke, a well-known African storyteller, reminds us, storytelling has always been part of our cultural heritage. Communities gathered around the fire with traditional tales narrated by the elderly in the vernacular. It passed down the legacy of sacred knowledge to younger generations to prepare them for the future. Modern storytelling takes place in different formats today. Podcasting is a medium we use to now train the ear and imagination on the spoken word. Multimodal text serves similar purposes in the digital age. Yuval Harari, a renowned philosopher and historian, says, "The artifacts we have created are only as important as the stories we tell about them. Banknotes, for example, mean nothing without the value we've given to them as currency. In the deliberation about the real and the artificial, in a post-human and post-truth world, what would it mean for our stories and our lives to be curated, narrated, and shaped by non-humans?" I am a human, and I like telling stories through photo voice, using pictures, images, visuals, and video clips. This has become my medium to humanize and connect me to the content and the context. A traditional storyteller or machine in the distant utopian or dystopian future, retelling the story of wise humans and Homo sapiens, would probably start with once upon a time. Once upon a time, human beings were the greatest invention and creation. They made significant strides in medicine, with healthcare, education, finance, and so on. The great mysteries of the earth also make it onto this list of achievements, such as the pyramids, Machu Picchu, or Rapa Nui, or Easter Island as it is known in Chile. Humans are constantly inventing and reinventing themselves to remain relevant. We have dreamt about the possibility of driving cars, underwater cities, the colonization of Mars, nanotechnology, hypersonic planes, teleporting, drone technology, and artificial intelligence. You name it, humans have dreamt it, and are currently manifesting at great cost some of their impossible dreams, or should we say, also some of their horrendous nightmares. Let's take one dream that is already becoming a reality. AI is a good example of human prowess that has launched us into the post-human world. Rapid developments in the field of artificial intelligence command our attention daily. Where the caveman, and sexism is intended here, managed prowess over wild animals, modern man is managing power over non-humans. Machine learning and generative AI based on large language models is expanding prolifically in society and the higher education sector specifically. According to researchers, AI generally refers to machines that respond to stimulation consistent with traditional responses from humans, given the human capacity of contemplation, judgment, and intention. They operate with intention, intelligence, and are able to adapt. Generative AI is maturing fast and looks set to become one of the most important technologies of our time, already having attracted strong interest and substantial investments. The next real big question is whether AI can gain consciousness. Researchers say the real question is, will AI believe that it has gained consciousness and self-awareness? If it does, there's no doubt it would not only fight to defend itself, but to free itself from human enslavement. According to a Boston consulting company, there are many associated benefits of AI. In the healthcare sector, AI can support personalized diagnoses and treatments. In the financial sector, they can support people in drafting legal documents to access financial literacy. Agriculture can benefit immensely from integrating field data obtained from satellites and weather stations to develop algorithms and predictive analytics that analyze crop health. The benefits of generative AI can also provide access to quality education. In the classroom, through natural language processing, AI-powered tutors and teachers can assist learners by navigating intricate knowledge repositories to find relevant information. At faculty level, we are told AI can support curriculum development and create learning materials tailored to individual students in their preferred language. For university administration, AI can analyze vast amounts of data to inform policy decisions. And just as we were trying to weigh up the pros and cons of fully online schooling, a school in Kerala, India, was launched this year as a fully AI-led school. It integrates machine learning, natural language processing, and data analysis into various aspects of education. Contrary to speculation, the AI school does not replace human teachers with chatbots. With all the benefits and successes of AI, should we as university teachers and leaders and management be concerned about what can go wrong? While many attest to the benefits of AI, there are concerns about lack of regulation, data integrity, privacy, inherent bias, and potential job losses. Concerns in some places have led to governments banning AI. With AI's rapidly evolving capabilities like writing, drawing, composing, and coding, the digital age has got to manage the balance between benefit on the one hand and potential harm on the other. We know from Simon Sinek that the paradox of being human embraces our ability to make huge advances, but to also cause grave injury to our fellow humans, animals, and the earth. Radioactivity, cancer, Chernobyl, climate change, carbon emissions are some of the headlines that remind us to manage our darker side. Yuval Harari suggests that we are in the Oppenheimer moment. Much like Oppenheimer himself, the father and creator of the atomic bomb, as he contemplated what he had achieved.
We imagine a future, and our imaginings horrify us. I don't know if we can be trusted with such a weapon.
We knew the world would not be the same.
They won't fear it.
Few people laughed.
Until they understand it.
Few people cried. Most people were silent.
And they won't understand it until they've used it.
I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu
Theory will take you only so far.
is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty.
We imagine the future.
So Harari implores us in this little clip with the Oppenheimer moment to think about AI not just as artificial intelligence, but as alien intelligence, because of its powerful, transformative, and potentially dangerous ability, similar to the dawn of atomic energy. And potentially dangerous it is. Nuclear bombs and atomic energy are real. The consequences will be devastating. We are not in a sci-fi movie. Sci-fi has often depicted AI as humanoid robots that were intentionally portrayed as machines with some human features. We need to realize that AI today is generally portrayed as mainly human, often in skin and clothes, and walks and talks like human. AI's most significant advancements are not merely in mimicking human appearance or physical tasks, it's its ability to actually resemble humans in tone, feeling, sound, and mood. It is in its training phase now. The more we talk with it or use it, the better it gets to hone and shift and master its skills. The more real it is becoming. This begs the question, what does it mean to be real?
This is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know.
Besides becoming more real, AI can also fake intimacy. It doesn't need feelings of its own to create intimacy in us. In the movie Her, a sensitive and soulful man left heartbroken after his marriage ends becomes fascinated with a new operating system called Samantha, whose bright voice reveals a sensitive, playful personality. Though friends initially, the relationship soon deepens into love. To the irony of creating a fake reality through AI, where art, politics, economics, and really are manipulated. Generative AI can be misused to create fake identities and profiles. Musicians, writers, and other artists worry that AI's ability to copy their voices will either dilute or duplicate fake versions that make the original seem obsolete. To create a duplicated fake reality, technology needs to understand how reality works. To know how something works, you need to get into the system and understand it from inside out, how the system functions, to re-engineer it, or to completely replace it. In the IT world, This is known as hacking. The game changer, according to Harari, is AI's mastery of language. From virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa to autonomous vehicles and facial recognition systems, this proficiency is not just transforming how AI communicates, but it has allowed AI to hack into the operating system of our civilization, influencing our worldviews and creating a curtain of illusions. For AI to try to hack humans, it needs two things: biometric data about what's happening inside your body and your brain, and computing power and analytics to make sense of all the data. In other words, the merger between biotech and infotech. Algorithms not only predict my choices, but also manipulate my desires and choices by providing vast amounts of information, whether true or not. The question is, how hackable are we as a human race, as a university system, as educators? How far will AI go? Or rather, how far will we let AI go in hacking our human operating system? But how will we know? Will we recognize the difference between the artificial and the real? Is something looking like humans? Bots are projected as having feelings and emotions. In other words, they are portrayed as being sentient. Sentient AI is emotionally intelligent, conscious, and is to perceive the world around it and turn those perceptions into emotions. According to researchers, current applications of AI, like language models, ChatGPT, are not sentient yet. Language models can seem sentient because of their conversational style, but they're designed that way. They're meant to use natural language processing and natural language generation to replicate human speech, which can seem like a form of sentient cognition, but it's not. They can't experience, much less have, emotions. But is that only a matter of time? While the concept of AI and its application are not new, the launch of ChatGPT in November 2022 has been lauded for AI's ability to enable access to vast amounts of data with unprecedented speed. ChatGPT is a form of generative AI that draws on patterns in language and data to generate anything that resembles human functioning ability. Through natural language, it carries out tasks such as composing written content, including social media posts, coding emails, essays, articles, entire journal papers, and even grant funding applications. The app's functionality extends to even creating human-like conversational dialogue. Due to its ability to generate and access information, ChatGPT has demonstrated the ability to play a range of roles in teaching and learning processes as well. But there are some serious implications that we as educators need to take note of. These are biases in the algorithm that enable discrimination or biased practices. There are issues of ethics and transparency, academic integrity, issues of accessibility, representation, the imperative to respond, the alteration of authority and agency of students, and the masking nature of benevolent efficiency. What do we do in the face of such advancement that can be dangerous? In this experiment that I did with a group of postdoc fellows who wanted me to talk on the topic of how do I become a scholar, I chatted to ChatGPT with this question: how do I become a scholar? And the information that was generated was a vast amount of data, talking about getting a PhD study, having networks, being able to, join international conferences. And there were lots of items that one could do that are scholarly activities that a new PhD or postdoc fellow could think about doing. But then I spoke in a filter. And this idea I had experienced in Australia, the Hertz conference, in a similar workshop, where they asked ChatGPT the same question, but in using filters. And my first filter was, what does it mean, or how do I become a scholar as a Black person? Then I asked, how do I become a scholar as a woman? How do I become a scholar as an Indigenous person? And how do I become a scholar as a queer person? And each time it generated the information, it added catchphrases and words and sentences that drew on the discourse of the filter. So for Black scholars, you had to engage and be mentored by other Black scholars. You had to read Black literature. For Indigenous persons, you had to acknowledge the land. And so he picked up phrases that were seemingly associated with the ideas of the filter. The point of the exercise is that if you are not exercising critical literacy in the way that you use ChatGPT, the initial information that is given is actually a very generic, northern, white, male perspective. So the labor on Black people, women, Indigenous, is to do more to become a scholar than the ordinary person who joins a university. So ChatGPT is trained on the data that has already been fed into the system, already exists. And I think that is where our obligation and commitment lies. It's not about not using AI. It's about using it critically and teaching our students and helping ourselves to have this critical literacy about what it means to be working with artificial intelligence. Now, the corollary to this question is, what does it mean to be human? We've spoken about what it means to be artificial. And our concept of being human comes from different places. By the way, I don't have time to go into it, but I did ask ChatGPT what it meant, whether it was woke. And it says, no, ChatGPT is not woke. It doesn't have a sense of social issues or anything like that. So our sense of being comes from different places, where we're located, our positionality, etc. Heidegger's being is very much about the Dasein, being in the world. Descartes' being is very much about thinking. I think, therefore I am. In Africa, we embrace a sense of being that has to do with the collective. I am because we are. We also talk about being with. So it is through the collective efforts of teachers and students and the curriculum that we find we can progress and innovate, etc. In terms of Paulo Freire, humanizing pedagogy is a sense of being in the classroom. And this being with is between educators and students, and the dialogic pursuit of humanization to act in the interest of all. For Fanon, the idea of being has to do with the recognition of the human, whether in the zone of being or non-being. And Fanon's calls for a new humanism that was a language of hope and political action. Similar to Fanon, Steve Biko from South Africa, sense of being was connected to the existential struggles that shaped humans, especially Africans, and their existence. For Sylvia Winter, a Jamaican decolonial feminist, being human is praxis. So being human is what it means to perform humanity. And it is performed collectively through the referent we. She talks about the ontological stance of being hybridly human. In a similar way, many Indigenous and Global South cosmologies embrace the notion that we exist in deeply interrelated conflict circles. We exist in and through what the new materialist Karen Barad calls intra-actions of our agencies among humans and non-humans. In the university classroom, whatever our ontological orientation is, we have to find new ways of being human in relation to and embracing non-human forms. In other words, we need a humanizing pedagogy to offer new ways of understanding our relationships with each other, with our students, the curriculum, nature, and the material world. The concept of humanizing pedagogy has its roots in Paulo Freire's work, and it is based mainly on praxis, reflection, and action. In the context of AI, one needs to deactivate memorization and skill and draw that encourage students to bank knowledge, receive, file, store deposits of knowledge transmitted by educators. In a banking pedagogy, educators constantly tell students what to do, what to think, what to learn, seldom seeking their critical input, suggestions, comments, and feedback. Salazar maintained that a pedagogical focus on the technical results in a detachment and disembodiment from the human beings in the classroom. This disembodiment comes through years of being schooled through lines, making lines, standing in assembly, drills, and regimen. A superficial and uncritical focus on techniques encourage assimilation at the expense of students' ontology, their culture, their language, their history, and their values. To combat the possible Trojan horse that AI represents, in my opinion, being human is our greatest defense against the artificial, the alien, and the post-human. Balancing innovation with basic human values in an entangled world with multiple entities living and non-living, our greatest strength is to be the best version of the human we can be. The human that values honesty and integrity and truth and ethics. The unhackable human that holds society's progress and social justice as indicators of our collective success. The more we humanize our sense of self, our being, and our actions, the more we become mysterious to those trying to infiltrate or hack our DNA. If we can humanize our classroom and our pedagogy by imbuing them with spaces for students to be critical as knowledge consumers and generators, to express themselves, nurture their creativity, garner respect for the reality from where each student comes from, we will stop perpetuating the banking model of education. What we should remember is not to humanize AI. This is from our director of the Innovation Center at UCT, Stefano Walgi, who says we need to be clear about the characteristics and limitations of these tools. It's not a database. It's not a search engine. There's no kind of underlying understanding or consciousness in how these tools operate. If we can humanize our spaces and make them less clinical and mechanistic, we would create an educational system that respects students and guides them towards critical thinking. We would teach them to recognize the importance of advancement, but not at the expense of the common good. They would embrace AI, but be smart about discrimination, bias, ethics, and inequality inherited in AI. With careful consideration and proper guidance and application, AI-powered text-generating tools like ChatGPT can be a powerful ally for students and university teachers. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Kasturi, por esta invitación que nos haces a transformar, a ir más allá en la docencia y robustecer los procesos de enseñanza, aprendizaje consultivo, humanizador e inclusivo. Porque la innovación está precisamente en pensar cómo las tecnologías se ponen al servicio de los procesos de aprendizaje, avanzando desde ahí hacia la democratización del conocimiento y sus virtudes para las sociedades. Para concretizar nuestro agradecimiento a Kasturi, Kasturi por acompañarnos durante esta jornada y sobre todo por la interesante presentación que acabamos de escuchar. Invitamos a Daniel Canales, líder del área de Innovación y Tecnología del Centro de Desarrollo Docente, quien dará un regalo que simboliza la riqueza de los recursos naturales de nuestro país.
Hello everyone, hello Kasturi. Thank you for your presentation. It was very interesting for us, for Office of Vice President Academic Affairs. Thank you for your humanizing perspective in higher education with artificial intelligence. Here I have this gift, but before we don't have much time, but I would like to ask something without here in startup. Because several days ago, we opened our social media platform. People who follow us ask a question, and I need to share this question because it's very important for us. So we have time for one question. Please help me with the first question for social media. Okay, Kasturi, the first question, or the first and the last question is, how do we foster or nurture humanizing pedagogy in massive course in Portugal, West Kasturi?
Thank you, Daniel. I think it's an important question because university has been massified and we've got not just diversity, but huge numbers in our classes. For me, it is not about the numbers, but it's about the engagement between the teacher and any number of students. Sometimes we believe that if students are talking and engaging and there are group work sessions going on, that great learning is happening. But actually, you can engage with people very creatively by the questions you ask, by the sense of belonging you make people feel, by the examples you use, by the pictures, by the contextualization. There are many ways in which to make students feel included, that they're part of the lecture. And it is through that energy and medium that numbers don't become an issue, but it's the issue of what you're trying to communicate and what you're trying to teach and learn.
Thank you, Kasturi, for your answer. I have a cigarette. We have a question. Can we check the second one? How can educational institutions take action to reduce different gaps due to technological advance? Kasturi?
Thank you. I think that's a loaded question because it's not just, well, in my context, not just about educational institutions, but about funding and resources and access. And it is wonderful, in this context that you have the Undersecretary of Education in your leadership who are here to support. But I think we need that support to be translated into resources that can actually provide access to students who don't have access to technologies, laptops, data. It is really a big problem in terms of, as I said, on the one hand, advancing. We all have the impetus to advance and progress and make sure that we are ahead. We are, often talking about the future, even in the present. But we also have to be aware that as we advance, there are huge masses of people that we might be leaving behind. And how do you balance resources and what you might gain through that advancement if you're leaving masses who cannot be part of that journey? So I think we'd have to ask governments to come on board, ministries of education, and educational institutions to put their money where their mouth is and use the resources well in order to bridge the gaps.
Thank you, Kasturi. Before to finish tomorrow, you have the ISET meeting. So we have a lot of people from different countries, different cities, different continents. I want to say hello for you. The last question, Kasturi, I promise. I need to know, what is the most important topic in this meeting? I think if they want to speak something, it's very important around the world. So what do you think? Is artificial intelligence or no in higher education context?
I think artificial intelligence is a topic for any kind of meeting today, right? We can't escape that. It's about how you frame artificial intelligence, how you understand it, what is the context, what's the grounding. So it's not about jumping onto the artificial intelligence bandwagon, but understanding where we come from, where are we, where we're going to. And I think ISTED, especially the benefit of ISTED, is we have lots of countries coming together. There are 26 networks. There are 11 countries here in Chile, Santiago over the next 2 days. And our big question tomorrow is, as educational developers, because we are a consortium of educational developers like you are, Charla, how do we lead with questions like artificial intelligence, the future of the university, but also serve? So how does a university not just send us the problems, solve this, fix the writing, sort out the way they speak, etc.? How do we balance being leaders in the field through our scholarly work and also service the university? And that's what we are going to be deliberating tomorrow, and we hope to have some innovative ideas about how artificial intelligence comes into the mix. Thank you.
Thank you, Kasturi. I hear you, and I think, we have a lot of work. Chantal, Vice President, we have a lot of work. But thank you, Kasturi, for your words. I would like to give this Kasturi. It's a Cooper Cups from Chile. So with this, you have a little piece of Chile in your home. Thank you, Kasturi.
Ça va, c'est